Hello and welcome to the TalkBox platform demo. So this portion of the video I'm going to walk you through the system and show you how it works with the integration to 5Loyalty. So on the home page here we've got a view of the database and we've got a view of recent communications, but more importantly down on the right hand side here we have a connections tab which shows us that TalkBox is connected to your 5Loyalty dashboard. What that means is every day TalkBox is pulling across all those loyalty member data into TalkBox, where we run some analysis on those customer profiles and we turn all that raw data inside 5Loyalty into meaningful marketing ready triggers. So if we go and have a look at the contacts first, I'll show you the field set that we gather. So at the top here we have first name, last name, email, mobile. Scrolling down we have date of birth, we have an age. Scrolling down further we can start to see their 5Loyalty points balances. So we have available points and we have points earned. So available is how many a customer can redeem today, and points earned is how many they've earned over their lifetime. Those are super useful and super important for TalkBox because it allows us to send loyalty supportive communications to customers as they're progressing through their loyalty program. It's really important that we understand where customers sit in their loyalty journey so that we can prompt and nudge them through that loyalty mechanism. As we scroll down a little bit further, you'll start to see behavioral data. So we have first visit date, we've got weekdays visited, we have the last visit date, and we have this field here. This is pretty unique to TalkBox. So we have an algorithm that predicts when each customer is most next likely to visit. It's called the expected next visit date. It gets recalculated every time a customer visits, but in theory it's a date in the future when we most next likely expect that customer to visit. And the reason that that's useful is we use it as a trigger for some marketing automation. So TalkBox will wait and see if the customer turns up when we think they're due a visit, and if they do, we leave them alone. But if they go beyond their expected next visit by a period, then TalkBox can reach out with a communication. That's really useful because it means you're now sending rewards and promotions to customers for a reason. There's a business logic behind sending someone a discount rather than just discounting somebody for the sake of it, or perhaps sending a discount to someone that may have been visiting anyway. So that's a really good form of control we can have in the platform that allows TalkBox to only talk to the people that we need to talk to. Then we have total visits, day since last visit, visit frequency. So total visits is going to be a number. To make that more meaningful, we rank this customer's total visits against everybody else in the database so that they then sit within a range. So is this customer low, medium, or high? We also have access to the transactional data in 5Loyalty, so we calculate an average spend for each customer. Again, we rank them against everybody else in the database so we can understand where they sit in terms of low, medium, or high. Scrolling down further, you'll see that we also have last location visited and visits location. So if you're a multiple or you're a group, in this list here we'll have all of your sites listed, and the last location that this customer will have visited will be ticked. However, that customer may have already visited other sites within your estate. So again, on this drop down there'd be multiple selections. What you're looking at here really is three parts. So we've got contact information, we've got loyalty data, so we can communicate about the loyalty program, and then we've got what we call our FM data. So recency, frequency, monetary. When were they last in? How often do they visit? And how valuable are they to your business? Now that's the field set, and every day we're pulling in that data and we're making a recalculation for each contact in the database so all that data is up to date. Now in terms of talking to your customers, it's really easy. So if I click in here, I'll show you how you would send your own communication. So this is what we might refer to as ad hoc or a manual send. So in here, we're going to start off the journey by selecting a template. And as you can see in this demo account, we've got a whole bunch of templates ready to go for all sorts of different campaigns. For now, I'm just going to use this general one here and then click use template. Now all of these templates are built using segments or blocks, and so what that means is in the editor you're able to manipulate the template and place those blocks anywhere on the page that you see fit. So you don't need to be a graphic designer to make some really good looking content. Over here at the top right hand side we've got blocks. These are things we can add to our template. So if I wanted to put another image in here, maybe put some text next to it, I can do so. I can come to the center and I can change those column widths around as so. Just going to remove that. Now a couple of interesting things to show you in the editor. The first one is a survey. So TalkBox has a built-in customer feedback survey that uses NPS. So NPS is an indicator on how likely the business is to be growing or shrinking. So Businesses use this because it's one question and it gets a really high response rate. So all the customer has to do is receive this email, tick one of these boxes. Once they've selected one of these boxes, a pop-up will appear, and then they can add some additional commentary to support their score. Now, I've already done this previously this morning, so I'm going to show you how that works now in terms of the reporting. So if we go down here and I go to NPS, you'll see that a survey has been completed, and the person that completed the survey was me, and I gave it a 10. So what happens is TalkBox collects all the scores, and to find out your net promoter score, we use this formula here. So your net promoter score is anywhere between -100 and +100. Doesn't matter where you start as long as it's moving up, and that's good. And as I said, the reason that this is super useful for your business is NPS correlates really strongly with either the growing or the shrinking of a business. Anything above 60 is considered world class. And it's really important that we make you aware of how customers feel about their experiences. So as you can see at the top here, we've got our detractors, 0 to 6s. These people had a poor experience, and the data tells us that these people are telling their friends and family not to visit. 7s and 8s, these are passive, so these people have had an okay experience, but they're not talking about it. And then promoters, these people love you, and the data again tells us that these people are actually telling people to visit your venue. So we want as many 9s and 10s as possible. Beneath that, you'll see a breakdown on the scores. As I said, when the customer leaves a score, they can also leave a comment. So you can see I've left a comment there. And then down here, you would have a trend line. So this would either be moving down, moving up, or in lots of cases, moving along a channel. So lots of businesses we work with, it's kind of flipping between sort of 60 and 100 over time. As I say, it's really important that you get a view on how customers are feeling about your brand. And so this report's going to help you do that over time. But in fact, more importantly, what we want to be able to do with this data though is we need to action it. So if I go to tools now and I go to the survey, you'll see that we have a few communications set up already that are automated. So anybody that gives you a 9 or a 10, we typically send them an email back saying, hey, thanks, great to see you. Would you be happy to give us a review on TripAdvisor or Facebook? Beneath that, we have a neutral message. So this is going to 7s and 8s, and all we're really doing here is saying thank you for your time. And then a detractor, it's some form of apology. On this occasion, we failed to live up to our typically high standards. Rest assured, a member of the team will be in touch with you within 48 hours. Additionally though, when these communications are going out and when customers are filling out the survey, it's really useful to let you know in real time what's going on. So we have this concept called a notification email. It's an email that comes from TalkBox, and it's going to go to any number of people at the business. And those emails come through in real time every time a customer completes the survey. That's great if you've got a customer who's giving you some really positive feedback. Our customers are telling us that they're passing that information on to the staff on the floor, telling them they're doing an incredible job. Obviously, if it's a poor response, then you're notified immediately and you can take action. So effectively what we're doing is we're capturing the unhappy people internally so that we can give you a chance to deal with that. And then we're pushing all the happy people online so that they can go and spread that message and help grow your brand. Now, before we go back to the campaign where we were before to show you the second part, I'm just going to bring your attention to this section here. So when you're sending campaigns from TalkBox, a lot of the time you might be sending incentives, and to do that we've made it really easy. So we have a second connection to 5Loyalty. So the first connection is we pull the contact data across. The second connection is we connect to the 5Loyalty promotions engine. So in order to send out a campaign through TalkBox with a reward on it or a discount, you set up your discount in 5Loyalty, and it then will automatically appear in this list over here. You haven't got to go and export lists of codes, transfer them from one system to the other. It's all done on the API automatically. So you create your promotion in 5Loyalty, 10 seconds later it's inside TalkBox. Now to go back to our campaign, I'll then show you how you add it to your communication and send it out. So if we come back over here, grab our template, we can then use this block over here. So what we do is we drag this block across, we have a drop down menu, we select our promotion, and it drops it in. Now what you might immediately notice is that promotion is not a discount code, it's not a QR code. The customer doesn't have to do anything with it. Importantly, they don't have to go and dig out an old email that you sent them 4 weeks ago with a code on it. What's happening here is when TalkBox sends this email to a customer, we also send a message to 5Loyalty, and we ask 5Loyalty to turn on the 10% discount on inside their loyalty account. Now again, I already did this earlier today, so I received an email with 10% off attached to it, and then I go to my loyalty account, and if I scroll down, there you can see we have the 10% off reward sat ready and waiting. It's pretty slick, and as I say, that reward can now be redeemed across the 5Loyalty system. And again, it just makes it much more seamless for the customer. As I say, they don't have to go dig out an old email from their inbox from 3 months ago to find a code. There's no user error that can go wrong with inputting an alphanumeric code. It's all done on the system. Now, because we're activating these rewards, we also know when they expire. So TalkBox will also send out automations to customers just a few days prior to those campaigns expiring to remind them that they've got something of value that they need to use. So to finish off our campaign, we would give it a subject line, and you can add a pre-header, and then we click continue. This is what it looks like on desktop, tablet, mobile, so they're all mobile responsive, nothing to do there. Now it's going to take us through to the SMS. So the SMS, the way it works is we have a sender name, so that would be your business name. We can also assign rewards to people that receive SMSs as well. And then in here we have the body of the SMS. So we might want to start off by selecting hi first name, and you'll see next to that we have a link. So that link there is represented over here in the body of the SMS, and if the customer selects that, it will open up the SMS in full screen in their web browser. So you can get a lot richer content across via SMS than just standard text. If you didn't want that, you can just remove it and you can type away. And importantly though, we have this bracket here for the voucher, so anybody that has that embedded in the SMS again will receive this reward. So I'll click continue. Now it's asking me who I'd like to send it to, so I might want to send it to everybody, and that would be useful if we're doing a new menu or we've opened up a new store or it's Christmas for example. But a lot of the time businesses are going to be using filters, so we can filter on any of the data that we're pulling across from 5Loyalty. So what we might consider doing is we might say visit frequency is high and spend range is also high. So that's applying filters on the fly. However, if we wanted to, we could create a list. So over here we have lists, and this is a way to save customer profiles in groups. So again, if I found I was always sending emails to people that spend lots of money that visit me very frequently, I could add them to a list. Now the beauty of lists is they're dynamic, so any customer that gets pulled in from 5Loyalty overnight that happens to be a high frequency, high value customer would automatically get added to that list. So the lists grow over time. Additionally, if a customer is on a list and they no longer fulfill the qualifying criteria to be on the list, then they just get removed from that list. For example, you might have a list of under 20-year-olds. When a customer hits 21 years of age, they'll be removed from that list automatically. For now, I'm going to select all contacts. I'll click continue. It's just telling me that this is going to everybody in the database. Who do we want it to go to? We can send it now or later, so we've got a date and a time picker. I'm going to send it now. It takes me to the final page where I review the message, I send myself a test, and I click confirm. Job done. Really, really easy. So that would be the operators sending their own campaigns. However, TalkBox is a machine, so what we want to do is we want to have the machine do 90% of the heavy lifting on your behalf. So what we like to say is TalkBox is a bit like hiring another member of your staff that's analysing your customer database every day and working out who it needs to talk to get the best result for your business. So in here we've got birthdays, recurring, date triggered, and so on. So if we click on date triggered, what you'll see in here is you'll see some examples of some automations. Now for me to describe how this works in a bit more detail, I'll now switch to a spreadsheet that allows me to show you how we get this all set up in your account. So when we sign up a new customer, what we're going to do is we're going to set up TalkBox and we're going to fully configure your account for you. And what that means is we're going to set up all the automations for you in the account. That is typically quite a large piece of work that takes quite a bit of time for operators to set up, especially if you're a single operator. However, we work with plenty of large organizations where we've really helped those marketing teams by taking another thing off their desk for them. So this sheet here, this is the workbook we worked through. So to begin, we grab some information about the business, some admin there. Then we do some initial benchmarking. So this is really, really important. So what we'll do is we'll look at your any existing data that you've got. If you don't have any existing data, that's also totally fine. We have lots of businesses that start from zero. But if you do have an existing database, or you're moving to 5Loyalty from an existing loyalty platform, what we'll do is we'll do some benchmarking. And what this does, it gives us a stick in the sand by which to compare the efficacy of TalkBox after a few months. So what we're able to do in say 6 months time from now, we can look back and to see how far we've moved the needle in terms of driving people and getting value from that loyalty program. We then have a small checklist that we work through to get everything set up for you. But the most important part of the sheet is this. So what you're looking at here is a full customer retention and loyalty automation strategy. So what we do when a customer comes to us, they sign up for 5Loyalty. They will speak to the 5Loyalty team about how they'd like their loyalty program structured. We ask then that you send that information to us. Now we have a small example down here. So this would be a stamp-based system, and you get rewards at 3, 6, and 10 stamps. Once you've sent that to my team, we would then create this document for you. So what we've done here is we have used our global customer base and insights and been able to understand what automations deliver the best returns for our customers. And we've boiled it down into a blueprint that we can bring to you to help you get the most value from 5Loyalty. The way that we position this is to say, if you are using 5Loyalty, TalkBox is the best option for you if you want to leverage that investment you've made. And by leverage, I mean generate the biggest return from your loyalty members. So we can break this down and we can run through this fairly quickly. So at the top here, we've got an onboarding section. This is in yellow. Now, onboarding is really important to us because a lot of loyalty programs, customers tend to get stuck on a single stamp. They sign up and they simply forget. A good example is the local co-op near me. They signed me up to the loyalty program. I put the loyalty card in my wallet and I forgot. And a few weeks later, the lady that signed me up reminded me and said, hey, I signed you up to loyalty a while back. Don't forget to get your card out and scan it. And she did that maybe 2 or 3 times. And now I get that loyalty card out by just by habit. I do it without thinking. And so it's really important that we think about that when we have loyalty with a database. So what you're looking at here is we have a communication that goes out 1 day after the 5Loyalty sign up date, and that's a welcome to the program. So we're setting expectations from the get-go. A week later, we'll send out an update details campaign. Maybe we'll go back and ask for some more information. You know, maybe ask for the customer's date of birth, for example. Then we move on to these down here. So a lot of businesses, 2 weeks after the customers first signed up, if they're still stuck on a single stamp, they might send a brand showcase. So they might not send an offer immediately, but they'll send some information about the brand to remind them that they're there. Then we have these two. These are what we call retention campaigns. So 2 weeks after the sign up date, where the customer's still stuck on a first stamp, we're going to send them an offer. So at this point, when we're filling out this document together, we'd ask you, hey, can we please have an offer to pop in this cell here? Because this campaign requires an offer to get the customer to take some action. If they ignore that, then we might wait 2 more weeks. So now it's 4 weeks since the first sign up date, still on one stamp, we'll send them a different offer. So this might be a much better offer. Something like that. Then we move on to the blue section. So the blue sections are what we call loyalty supportive campaigns. So what we're doing here, 1 day after your last visit where you've got 2 stamps, we'll send you an email, we'll tell you that you're just 1 more stamp away from getting your reward. 2 weeks after your last visit date where you're still stuck on 2 stamps, we'll remind you, hey, you're still only 1 more visit away from your reward. And then 1 day after the last visit date where you've now got 3 stamps, we tell you that you've unlocked a reward. And then a period of time after the last visit date, so 2 weeks after the last visit date, where you've got 3 stamps, we say, hey, don't forget to use your reward. Now these columns, these cells here, we don't need any offers because the reward here is automatically being applied by 5Loyalty. What we're doing is sending out what we call loyalty supportive communications to help drive people through the program. Now that works for stamps 3, stamp 6, and stamps 10. Now these two here in red, these are what we call visits drivers. What we want to avoid is people getting stuck. So we don't want people to get their third stamp reward and think that they've achieved everything. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to use the expected next visit date trigger. So 2 weeks after you've missed your expected next visit date, where you've either got 3 or 4 stamps, we might want to send a surprise and delight offer. So again, over here, we'd be asking you to pop in an offer that you're happy to run. Now, if I visit within that 2-week period of my expected next visit date, nothing happens. I don't receive anything. All that happens is my expected next visit date gets pushed further into the future. Obviously, what this means is it allows us to leave people that are visiting regularly alone and only reach out to those people that we think need a nudge. So there's 2 of those visits drivers in there. And then moving down, we have lapsed customers. So this is more traditional. So a month after our last visit where the customer's not been back, we will send a missed you communication. And again, we'll pop an offer in that cell there. After every visit, we might want to send them an update on their points balance. Again, This is a bit like the lady in the co-op reminding me that I'm part of a loyalty program. And so what we're doing is we're telling people what their points balance is or what their current stamp balance is to encourage them to engage with the program. And also you can see we've got an NPS. So in some of those campaigns we might want to do a little survey and include the Net Promoter Score survey as part of that campaign. Then we've got birthdays. So there's two ways of doing a birthday. If we know the customer's date of birth, we'll send a communication. In this case, it's going 5 days prior with an offer. So again, over here, you put an offer that you'd be happy to run. Now, not everybody in the database gives us their date of birth, nor do sometimes we have access to it. So in those cases, what we can do is we'll send a Celebrate You offer. So this is a campaign that's sent 12 months on the anniversary of their first visit. We don't tell them it's the 12-month anniversary, but what we will do is we'll say, hey, today is a Celebrate You day. It doesn't always have to be your birthday to make you feel special. Here's an offer on the house to say thanks for your incredible loyalty this year. And what that means is essentially 100% of the database gets a birthday offer rather than some. Now, in these green cells that we've been filling out on the side here, these are all promotions that TalkBox is going to send. And so down here we have reminders. So these reminders are going out a number of days. So in this example, it's going out 5 days and 1 day prior to expiry. These are some of the best performing campaigns because these campaigns are not necessarily considered marketing. What they are is a reminder that the customer has something of value that they're about to lose. So they really do well at getting a customer to take some action and visit your venue. Now, the timing on this sheet here, we tweak. So it depends on how the type of business. If you're a QSR and you've got very high visit frequency, the timings might be quite tight. If you're a casual dining or a restaurant, we might extend some of these timings so that we're not getting in front of people too early, but we're getting in front of them at the right time. So there's a little bit of working together on this sheet. Some businesses might have their own ideas that we can add, so we can definitely add to this sheet with different campaigns. But a lot of the time businesses take a look at this and say, yes, this is exactly what we need. We'll tweak the timings, we'll put some offers in here, and then they're done. Now that whole conversation takes about half an hour to an hour, depending on what we're talking through. But once that's done, as an operator, you can now sit back. My team will go ahead and build the templates, we'll write the copy, we'll set the promotions up in 5Loyalty, and then we'll configure everything in your 5Loyalty and your TalkBox account for you. So once we've done that, you would have typically about 12 automations in here that are going to go out every single day to specific groups of people in your database. So that is a huge piece of work that we endeavor to do, and it means we can get you from an empty TalkBox account that's not doing anything to a fully fledged TalkBox platform with a full automated customer loyalty and retention program running on your behalf every day without you lifting a finger. Now, once the program's up and running, the next logical step is to have a look at, is it working? So there's 3 parts to the way that we can report. So the first one is standard reporting for sent messages. So we have email open rates, click-through rates, etc. to show you how your campaigns are performing there. In the reporting section down here, we have these account performance stats. Now these are like an account snapshot on a month-by-month basis, and they're useful for passing up the chain to other stakeholders in the business. But here in July 26, you can see we would have a number of visits recorded. So this is the number of people from the database that have visited in that month. We have contacts visited, so what percentage of the database visited the venue in this particular month. Down here we have vouchers issued, redeemed, and a redemption rate. And then down here you would have a total combined spend of all the database members that visited you in that month. So if we had 1,000 visits from the database, we might have £10,000 down here, which means everybody spent about a tenner. Then we've got engagement, so we've got automated campaigns. So across all of your automated campaigns, how are you performing? And then of all the single send campaigns that you may have done in that particular month, how are those performing? We'll have your NPS stats for that particular month here as well. And then database, are we growing the database? And we'll show you that in terms of contacts and their percentage change. Now, that's a couple of quick areas where we're reporting. However, once a month, we send a much more detailed report, so we can give you ROI down to the penny on how well the platform is performing. This is a quick snapshot of a campaign. It's redacted because this is a real customer's report, but you can see in here we've got voucher revenue, average spend, voucher redemptions, open rates, etc. This report comes as a standard report on the 1st of every month. However, if there's any particular areas you'd like us to focus on, we can add those to the report. Some businesses ask us to do visits analysis. Some businesses ask us to do visit probability analysis. Whatever it may be, we can include that in the report. We've even got businesses that tell us or share their GP with us, and we work out an ROI figure using the GP. after cost of discounts have been applied. So we're in a really strong position to be able to do this, because not only have we got the data in TalkBox where we're looking at customer behaviors, but we also can see what's going on inside 5Loyalty. So we combine all of that data, and it allows us to give you the clearest view of how well your campaigns and your loyalty program is working. So that, in a fairly quick session, is the TalkBox platform demo. If you'd like to take a deeper dive on the platform where we can talk more specifically about your particular business and how it might work for your business on a day-to-day basis, more than happy to do that. Please get in touch via the channels on the materials that you've been reading, and I'll hopefully look forward to speaking to you in the future.